2 years after being told not to drink their water, residents of Lawrence County are still concerned. Hundreds are pursuing litigation against the West Morgan East Lawrence Water Authority.
Others have filed lawsuits against the companies accused of polluting the water, and many say they feel abandoned by the state of Alabama.
WHNT News 19 investigative reporter Chelsea Brinsel is taking action in our special report, What's in the Water?
Flint, Michigan. Lead contaminates the water supply. More than a dozen government officials get arrested. The Michigan State Health Director faces charges for manslaughter. Charleston, West Virginia. A chemical spill poisons their water. The governor declares a state of emergency. Lawrence County, Alabama. Manufacturing chemicals are found in the water supplied to people's homes. No aid from the state. No criminal charges. Really, not much of anything.
How do you explain the public representatives not wanting to help their people? To me, that is genocide.
About 33,000 people live in this 700 square mile county. They're worried about their water supply. Well, actually, they're afraid it might kill them. Many of them, those who can afford it or can get donations, survive off bottled water.
It is awful to live in fear, not knowing whether you cook with it or drink it.
The Environmental Protection Agency lowered the guidance on the levels of perfluorinated compounds that would be safe for human consumption in May 2016. They issued a health advisory. The chemicals in question are linked to crippling health problems: cancer, ulcerative colitis, thyroid disease, and on and on. These perfluorinated compounds, in this case PFOA and PFOS, are used in manufacturing things like Teflon and Scotchgard. They produced the chemicals for decades at 3M, right here in Decatur. They pumped the leftovers straight into the Tennessee River. 3M announced it would stop making PFOA and PFOS in 2000. But the whole point of the chemicals is that they don't break down easily. When the EPA changed the levels deemed safe, the West Morgan East Lawrence Water Authority had to tell their customers,
do not drink our water.
They've since installed a carbon filtration system at the WMEL Water Authority. It's supposed to help, but it's not a permanent fix. The Water Authority needs a reverse osmosis system. WMEL was going to pay for the $25 million system with settlement money from its lawsuit against 3M and Daikin. Daikin recently settled for $4 million to pay for the current temporary system. The 3M suit is stuck in court. Meanwhile,
35.
Ernest Nance is stuck in his bed. The former Alabama Crimson Tide linebacker has a number of ailments, including kidney issues and skin lesions.
They don't know why my wounds won't heal. And I think it's because I'm here using the water to bathe. I'm drinking the water.
There's more sick people than there are healthy people.
And I think over half of the people has died from some kind of cancer.
Annie Hughes has lived in Lawrence County her entire life. She was recently diagnosed with bladder cancer. She believes the cancer is a result of years of drinking toxic water. Now, in other states, the people have their governments to stand up for them.
The waste from these chemicals were dumped.
In 2010, the Attorney General of Minnesota filed a lawsuit against 3M for PFOA and PFOS contamination. In February 2018, on the eve of the trial, 3M settled with the state of Minnesota for $850 million. In July 2018, the governor of Michigan wrote a letter to his attorney general urging him to sue 3M for contaminating their water with PFCs. Back in Alabama, the attorney general told us state environmental regulators haven't alerted him to any water quality issue in Lawrence County that would require action from his office. Earlier this year, the governor told us she'd consider getting involved with the issue later down the road. We haven't heard anything since. But here in Lawrence County, they're counting days, and they're counting their friends, their neighbors, and loved ones who've passed.
2 or 3 funerals a week, you know, 4 or 5 a month, you know what I mean? That's kind of like unusual, you know?
You can filter out the deadly chemicals if you have the money. But what do you do with the fear?
You know, one of the things about death, you know what I'm saying, I know we all have to go one day, but we don't want to rush it. And definitely don't want to rush it thinking about just drinking water. Come on now.
So do the politicians and public officials. The residents of Lawrence County have some questions for you.
Where have you been? And when are you coming?
They want to know, How long do they have to wait? Taking action, Chelsea Brensel, WHNT, News 19.
We asked 3M for a comment. They haven't responded.
The state has an agreement with 3M to try and clean up chemicals at the plant site, but there is no state limit on how much of the chemicals the company can discharge from the plant into the Tennessee River. We'll be right back.